So you start with the missteps, making sure that you have everything aligned. So if you're running a cannabis event, making sure everything is set from understanding the legal nuances, because every state and county and city is different in what they allow. And so having that done up front and knowing that you have your license to do events and you've got approval from the city, the venue, everything is signed off. You've got the insurance to make sure that they know exactly what's going on and that you can actually have the event and you're covered. Because I've seen it where people don't get that and the last minute they're shut down. There's some huge festivals that have been shut down last minute just because they didn't have the sign off from the actual venue. And with cannabis, you can, if you are having cannabis on site, there are only very select venues that you can have the events. You always want to get clearance from the event organizers, but then they're going to want to make sure that all the sponsors and everyone else involved knows that a cannabis brand is going to be being integrated. So the dispensary retail experience has definitely evolved over the last year because of everything going on with the pandemic. And it's really made brands look to other channels and how to interact with consumers. So the dispensary has had to change as well because they don't have the audience coming in, because the only place you could really get cannabis or THC products is in dispensaries or through their delivery services. So you're seeing a huge uptick in amount of delivery services. People are getting it delivered from the dispensary or getting it dropped off on curbside. However, it does take away from the brands because a lot of them were used to having the in-store experiences where they would have the customer appreciation nights and they would educate the consumers on the various products. And that was huge because that was really one of the few places that brands could really interact with their true consumers and get their products in front of people. Now with the dispensary, it's all about the experience. They've got to educate the consumer, have the products that people are interested in, but really know who their audience is and how they go to market, how do they activate. So everything, everywhere that you see them, they are bringing that brand essence to their activations. And there will become more national brands. It's just a matter of time. It is difficult to become national brands because you've got to set up operations in each state. And that's where you run into issues with consistency and of product because cannabis cannot cross state lines. And you're seeing a lot of times with edibles, they'll make it in one state, ship it to another and infuse it there. So they'll have the recipes or create the recipes that can be then generated in each market. But it isn't easy. So until there's national legalization, you're not going to get the scale of some of these major CPG companies. And the revenues and or profits are hindered because of all of the separate entities that they have to set up and all of the work that goes behind the scenes. So people think you just create a brand and you can make a ton of money, but it's a lot of work, especially getting it into the individual states. With regular brands, obviously, yes, the quality product, but then knowing it's the story again, knowing who your audience is, and then what lifestyle are you affiliating yourself with? A lot of these brands want to be everything to everybody, and that's where you've seen a lot of brands fail. And so really knowing who your target audience is, build a relationship with them, and then grow organically from there. One of the biggest key considerations as you're developing your brand is really getting the product quality down. Really, a lot of it comes around the taste and the smell, if it is a cannabis product. But regardless of any of the other ancillary products as well, it's got to be high quality. With a cultivator, they want to know, you need to know what to focus on. So they may focus on organic, being local. Again, they can't cross state lines. So if you're growing it, how do you differentiate yourself from all the others? So if you're outdoor grown or so sun grown, ingrown, or you're grown in Humboldt, or you're grown in a warehouse in downtown LA, what makes yours different? And how do you go with that? And so a lot of it is around the story of the farmers, the owners of the organization. Why did they get into it? And so really dive deep. And that's what you've got to look at everyone in the company and really find those stories that are authentic, because everyone will cut through the bullshit. They'll see right through it. All the consumers, they know what's real or not. And so that's where you're seeing a lot of the brands that are out there now that are doing well have that real strong story. And so that's definitely important. It's got to be authentic. It's been exciting to see the transition over the last several years of brands that get it and where they are now. What people were selling were the names of the cannabis. That was the brand. Blue Dream, Sour Diesel, Maui Wowie. So all of those, that was the brand, and they'd come in bags, and you'd give them sell them to the dispensaries, and no one would put their name on it, on the actual, put a brand name on it, because they didn't want to be associated because of legal risks. And so it's just now coming to people in a different way with so many more options. I mean, that's the key. Adult use, it's more about the lifestyle, the branding, the mood. You're seeing people gifting cannabis a lot more. Instead of bringing wine, like I'll bring joints, a box of joints, or edibles. I'll put it in a wine bag and bring that. And so you're going to see more of that as you've got beautiful packaging, and it's just something that you want to give. In my opinion, is going to change pretty significantly. And you're already starting to see that with the new administration. There's definitely some big changes with social justice regulations driving the change. So decriminalization, hopefully those will start snowballing, have a snowball effect on some banking, but definitely with the social justice. So mentioned a little bit, but people of color are 4 times as likely to be arrested for cannabis use, even though use is on par with all races. How do you get not only people out of jail for the crimes, small crimes of cannabis, but then also getting their records expunged? And then you're going to see a lot more edibles coming out, especially with the pandemic. You're seeing that in joints. It's not, you don't want to pass the dutchie from the left-hand side anymore. It's kind of like just keep hitting it yourself, using them on your own. You're seeing a lot more beverages coming to the market. I'm very bullish on beverage. If you look at anywhere where alcohol is currently sold, cannabis infused beverages will be sold right alongside with it. So my vice, well, I usually eat fairly healthy, but Reese's peanut butter cups, that would be my vice. And so whether it's trees, pumpkins, snowmen, roses, miniatures, big cup, crunchy, or just the regular ones, they are my favorite every holiday.